Ah yes, the month of October, the 1 month we dedicate to scary costumes, and if you are lucky enough to live in the United States, maybe diabetes. But for those of us who cannot trick or treat and are too old and do not need a costume to scare people, it's time for good deals and possible new gaming experiences to be enjoyed. Therefore, on this Steam Halloween 2022 sale, we're going to take a look over a few games you might want to check out, as they will make your Halloween a little extra enjoyable. Once again, disclaimer, if you want to actually get some of these games, make sure to do your own research to be sure that your gaming rig can actually run them, or if you can actually afford them, or if there is a better sale on one of the other platforms. With that all said, let us begin with the survival category. This is the category which I'm not a huge fan of, but still it's something that made horror games quite popular. I personally do not enjoy a concept where I'm being chased around like a bitch and I cannot fight back, or I can, but I cannot really kill the thing or person pursuing me. Yet despite my personal distaste in the category, there is a game I think you all should consider as a really great option. Alien Isolation. Okay, so let's face it, when it comes to turning movies into video games, or the other way around, the results are usually pretty shit. But despite this almost stereotype at this point, Alien Isolation puts you in role of Ellen Ripley's daughter Amanda, who never gave up on when it came to looking for her mother. And 15 years after her disappearance, Amanda will be able to find the ship where they have been able to recover the flight recorder from the Nostromo ship. However, it also has the aliens which are hunting down the people there. You will therefore have to search, look, craft, and survive the never-ending pursuit of the xenomorph. The game looks absolutely amazing, captures the atmosphere of the first Alien movie, and I'm quite sure its price of 40 euros or dollars will be reduced during the sale. Outlast made a big splash when it was originally released and has until today remained one of the top survivor horror games that you can get your hands on. And ironically, in the games where you would consider the first one its sequel or the Whistleblower DLC or even the Outlast Trinity bundle, your hands will play a key role, as the game utilizes the fear factor of the darkness, and your trusty camcorder will be the only thing that will be able to help you survive in the never-ending nightmare that is the Outlast series. That is, unless you run out of batteries. From these survival games, we will move on to the more shooty variety of horror games where you can still crap your pants, but at least you will be holding a weapon while that happens. And I got to start the list with Alan Wake. Man, this game is what got me into following people on YouTube in the first place when it comes to playthroughs. This game is something I can recommend, as the story, the characters, and even the combat system is absolutely amazing. And sure, the remaster is on its way, but until that happens, I highly recommend this title. Before the music license will expire again and Steam will have to take the game down off its store again. Dying Light. Now, what would be Halloween without zombies, right? The original Dying Light is still a solid game experience in case you never had the chance to play it, as trust me, during that first night chase when the volatiles will be chasing you and your character is not leveled up and you're trying to reach some sort of safety zone, you will be sitting at the edge of your seat. No, I am not a huge promoter of the DLC that came along with Dying Light, because why would you put vehicles into game based around parkour? But that is just my personal opinion. Despite that, it's still a solid experience, and thanks to the age of the game, chances are there will be far better discount than its sequel, which you can also check out now on Steam. Dead Space. Ah yes, the proof that EA will eventually mess up their franchises. Therefore, I would only suggest Dead Space 1 or 2 for your consideration, as these games are amazing in setting up the atmosphere of horror and being chased around by all sorts of creepy crawlies. Therefore, you should take a look at the possible slash on price during the sale, as we will still have to wait for the remaster to be released, I think, until the next year. The Evil Within. Back in the day, Silent Hill franchise used to be something that people played to be afraid, either due to the setting, the terrible controls, or the terrible camera angles. But I feel like the possible modern take on this old formula is the Evil Within franchise, a game in which you take a role of a detective who is put into this nightmarish place where he has to fight, loot, survive, and fight for his damn life. Strategy games. Well, what? Even strategy games can have horror in them, or humor. It really depends on what is your preferred choice. My preferred choice would be to refer you to one of my favorite games ever, Darkest Dungeon, a turn-based strategy where rage quitting has never been more streamlined.
Find it in no short supply.
Don't do it! Fuck!
Regroup.
Fuck! Fuck!
Is timeless after all.
Fuck!
No, seriously, going against undead or other beasts will truly test your skill. But once you learn what lies beneath the matter, maybe even that won't be enough. The sequel is still not available on Steam, but I highly recommend you to check out the game and its DLCs, as they do bring a lot of good game mechanics for you to mess around with, and also the modding community for this game is absolutely amazing. South Park: The Stick of Truth. Now I know what you're thinking. What the hell does this game have to do with Halloween? Well, not a damn thing actually. Yet when you consider that you will be with your party and friends traveling across South Park, dressed up as characters from Lord of the Rings, so basically like on Halloween, the game makes sense to appear on the list. So get off your high horse. I said off your high horse, not behind, you freak. And therefore, I would highly recommend this turn-based strategy game with plenty of jokes to be on your wishlist.
Yeah, it's a pain, but this is the kind of stuff you put up with living in a remote little mountain town. At least we don't have to deal with traffic.
And from strategy games, we move on to the list of some of the games you might have never heard of when it comes to horror. But let's face it, if you have 20, 200 or 2000 games, you still might miss out some of these titles because the gaming industry is just totally overcrowded with good, average, and bad titles to be enjoyed. So some of these titles are truly amazing and should be also considered by you for the Halloween Steam sale, and let's see if they will actually make an appearance and you will be able to get these with the discount. Darkwood. This game is truly what for me represents the setting of horror and what it can be in a video game. You are investigating information about the plague, which is infecting the locals, and you decide to head into the Darkwoods from which this plague is infecting everyone, and you are trying to uncover its secrets. Now, you will have two types of gameplay in this thing, and there is daytime and nighttime. And during the daytime, you will be traveling, you will be looting, and you will be fortifying your position in case you stumble upon some sort of safe space. And at nighttime, the darkness will loom in the woods, and it will come searching for you, and if you are not well prepared, it will take you, and nobody will ever hear about you again. Limbo. You might consider it a horror or not, but the story of a boy who is stuck in a limbo and his soul is being haunted by the evil before his body is put to rest is an interesting concept for a video game. One where, especially if you do not like spiders, will be crawling up your spine. And from the scary we move more to the just theme and the fun aspect of Halloween night itself. Costume Quest series. Now, in case you never heard about these games, the concept follows a protagonist who, on the night of Halloween, goes with his brother trick-or-treating, yet his brother gets abducted. And now, with the help of others, you have to continue trick-or-treating, upgrading your costume, and eventually be able to rescue your sibling. It's really fun, it follows the theme quite well, and two games do offer you quite a decent entertainment for your money, and considering the fact that these are indie titles and also might actually be able to, thanks to their age, be heavily discounted, it's games which you should potentially consider for yourself. Graveyard Keeper. Ah yes, the game that started my YouTube channel. A fun title where you are able to turn dead bodies into meat that is sold to the local establishment, and you keep wondering why McDonald's Big Mac tastes so funny. Or you are meant to bury someone's relative but you hate their guts, so you dump their grandmom into the river instead. Let somebody else dig a hole, goddammit. What are these, the Dark Ages? Seriously though, the game is a lot of fun, kind of like Stardew Valley, but instead of a farm you manage a graveyard and the adjacent church. You forage, you get some wood, but not in the morning, you mine, you craft, you catch some fish, you cook up some decent meals, and you try to trade and figure out what happened to the local plants and why the church is in such shambles, and maybe if you are successful enough, even find a way back home to your love. Special mentions. Okay, so these games I know about and should be considered by you for potentially Halloween sale, except of Choo Charles, unfortunately, as the release date is for December, so maybe it will make appearance on the winter sale, but maybe not. Anyhow, despite Choo Charles, the games which you should consider are the Resident Evil franchise. Now look, there are a lot of them and everyone might have different opinion, especially about the movies, but the games do represent quite a lot of well put together thoughts and ideas, and with the new remakes and even the new releases, you might actually find something which you would enjoy. Now me personally, when I played through The Village, I was thinking that the developer was trying to do just way too damn many things, and only portion of the game felt like a horror and the rest felt like some sort of weird DLC for Call of Duty with werewolves or something. So I will leave this up to you. Scorn is the newest title on the list, as it came out fairly recently, and based on what I was able to observe, the game is heavily inspired by H.R. Geiger's artwork, and it's a sort of walking simulator with puzzles and scary looking machines into which you need to insert your body parts. And no, not that one, it's too small, you freak. But anyhow, you will travel, you will interact with the environment, you will fight, and unfortunately the game appears to be really short, which also results in the heavily mixed reviews, so you really have to consider if you are willing to shell out the money for this title or if you will pass and move on to some other franchise to potentially make you shake in your seat during Halloween. I also have to make a community service by telling you about some of the older games, as Steam has now acquired access to a lot of amazing titles. Yet with the numbers comes age, and with the age comes bad optimization to run on modern systems especially. I have recently been able to get my hands on the Fear franchise, which I never was able to enjoy before, and so I was really thrilled to potentially try this game, as it does have the horror aspect aspects in it, yet the game is so poorly optimized, it absolutely was a total nightmare to actually try and run it. So you have to be really careful when it comes to picking up some of the older titles during the Steam sale, as sure, Day by Deadlight or some of these other titles, Hunt and so on and such, will be offered, but they are new titles, they are supported titles. The older titles like Silent Hill and so on and such, which you can still find on Steam, might unfortunately provide you with terrible experience. And that will be it for the Halloween sale. Of course, the upcoming autumn sale will be on the 22nd of November, so I will try to make a video for that one too, but in case I will miss it, still consider subscribing to the channel as it helps out a lot. And especially let me know what other games should I have mentioned or I have potentially missed on my video, as I'm dying, get it, because of all the monsters and... Anyhow, so as I was saying, I'm dying to find out, and I will see you all in the comments or at the next one. Thank you all for watching, enjoy your Halloween, and see you at the next one. That is, if you live long enough.